Hello friends, good evening. Dahlias are tuberous rooted perennial plants that have their genesis in Mexico and Central America. The growth period of the flower is midsummer, late June to winter, early December. Dahlias have leafy stems, and the best part of growing dahlias is their fuss free maintenance. We will discuss some useful tips to grow dahlias in your balcony garden or backyard or rooftop garden. And the first tip is, if there is a space limitation in your house, then dahlias can be grown in pots, patios, balconies, or in small backyard. Dahlias can also grow under shade cloth. And the second useful tips is, there should be adequate spacing between the dahlias so that they can grow without creating mutual space crunch. And third is, when in active growth, modern dahlia hybrids perform most successfully in well watered yet free draining soils in situations receiving plenty of sunlight. And the next one is soil. Dahlias have an affinity for slightly acidic soil. So, if the soil in your garden is not acidic in nature, your dahlias will not grow well. And the next tip is sunlight. Dahlias demand ample amount of sunlight for healthy growth. Around 8 hours of blazing sunlight will lead to an enhanced blooming capacity of the plant. Overwatering can cause tubers to rot. Avoid watering the soil till the plant appears. Inspect tubers regularly to keep a tab on rotting and discard the ones that have been damaged. As dahlias lengthen in size, they require support. Use sturdy wooden stakes that strengthen to otherwise reclining tall dahlias. Also, keep some twine in handy for when the time to support the stems comes nigh. Cut down foliage and use a fork to carefully range plants out of the soil. In case of bedding dahlias, you need not opt for stacking or disbudding. All you need to do is lift out the growing paint to allow the bush to spread out. Pinch the center shoot just above the third set of leaves. For giant blooms, restrict the number of flowering stems to 3 to 5 per plant. In case of smaller blooms, allow 7 to 10 flowering stems per plant. If you want to use the dahlias for adding aesthetic value to your garden or your home, go ahead, choose whole stems and try to maintain the basic shape of your plant. It will quickly try to substitute the removed branch and the birds will keep coming. A sorry state of flowering is an outcome of overfeeding of fertilizers, lack of sufficient sunlight, and poor water supply. Please try and avoid this. Dahlias can successfully grow from cuttings as it would grow from a tuber, provided that the other imperatives are met with. In addition to it, growing dahlias from cuttings can multiply the stock at a quicker pace. You can break the monotony of a liner bed or dahlias by having roses alternatively, but ensure that it has a 1 meter gap so as to naturalize the competition for fertilizers. Digging the segmentation of tubers should be carried out as an annual activity. This is aimed at preventing the rotting of tubers due to clumping. Slugs, mites, and snails are some of the pests that pose a potent threat to dahlias. Tackle the problem by baiting the slug and snails with a mug of bear to which they are attracted to. No surprises twice a week after planting, and for the mites, sprays are an effective solution. Overall, you don't have to worry much about the protection of your dahlias. If you plant your dahlias by tubers, if you are sure there will be no more frosty nights in early spring, it's safe to get your dahlia tubers into the ground. If you are wrong about the frost, you could lose or damage them. Plan to grow your dahlias in a spot where they will receive full sun, and be sure the soil is very well draining. Tubers that sit in wet soil tend to become mushy or and rot, and dahlias are no exception. Each healthy tuber should have at least one eye. You will want to sink some sturdy support stakes into the ground before planting your tubers. 6 foot means 2 meter stakes sunken a foot 31 centimeter into the ground is recommended. Putting in stakes first will keep you from accidentally damaging the tubers later when your growing sorry growing plants need to be supported, and they will definitely need support. Next to the stakes, dig your planting hole 6 to 8 inches 15 to 20 centimeter deep for tall varieties, and 2 to 3 inches 5 to 8 centimeter deep for shorter varieties like dwarf varieties. Make sure your tubers are spaced 18 to 24 inches apart. Another method of planting dahlias is to dig 6 to 8 inches 15 to 20 centimeter deep trench, spacing the tubers again 18 to 24 inches apart. Cover the trench with soil and a layer of mulch. When your planting holes or trenches are ready, place the dahlia tubers flat on their sides and cover with soil. Mulching over the top helps keep them weeds down, which your dahlias will appreciate. Keep in mind when growing dahlias flowers that they can reach heights from 1 to 5 feet 31 centimeter to 1.5 meter tall. So allowing plenty of space in between the tubers is important. Friends, you can grow dahlias from the cutting very nicely. Carefully tear or cut away any lower leaves on the stem, and cut the top leaves in half to reduce the amount of surface area through which moisture can be lost. Water the cuttings, they usually root without covering, but if you have a propagator plastic tray with or without bottom heat and with a clear plastic lid, you could use this. Thank you, friends.